Hello, everyone. We have a great show coming up in a few with an awesome panel. Stay tuned.
Black space is a place for us.
Real people with real issues.
Discussing real topics.
Black space.
A safe space for our community.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Black Space Live. I'm your host and your girl, Genele Love. Tonight, we're going to talk about how do women benefit from being in the friend zone. So go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe to our channel. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Apple Podcast, and a bunch of other platforms. So go ahead and subscribe and like. Also, we'd love to see your comments in the comment section. So please add comments as we go as well. We have a lovely panel here. I'd like to start with the lovely Charmaine at the top. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll work our way down and around.
Hi, yes. My name's Charmaine. I am in the early education field, and I live in Georgia. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And Doc, it looks like you're on mute. If you want to unmute yourself and tell everyone who you are.
Good evening, Donita Holmes. I am a licensed clinician and a consultant, and I am in the Carolinas, and I have a private practice in Code for Concepts where I do a lot of training, development, and couples counseling. And I work with a lot of child and adolescent and family clients as well.
Awesome. Welcome. Thanks. Good to have you. And what would you like you to call us? I'm sorry. What would you like us to call you?
You can still use my the same thing, just Doc.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And Jay, welcome to the show. First time on. Please tell everyone who you are, what you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Full time, I'm an IT professional, but I do a lot of side hustles. So I am host of a Method podcast. I'm also a certified life coach. I'm also a content creator on TikTok. You can follow me at DJ Noetic, and I also do a little bit of drone videography as well. So that's my background. I live in Tampa, Florida, here to hold it down for the fellas. Let's go.
Hey. And tune in. They have a show tomorrow night, Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, correct?
That is correct. And tomorrow's topic is mental health from the male's perspective. So we have three guys coming on, and we're just going to talk about how do we handle our mental health in today's age, and just keeping it real and talking about all that good stuff.
Love it. Doc, that might be a good one for you to tune into. Maybe they'll have you on. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I want to talk about this topic in our community. We've been going back and forth about, running circles around each other in the dating pool, and men being in the friend zone, women being in the friend zone, women trying to be wives, but they're not acting like wife material, men out here doing whatever they do. But let's go ahead and dissect this. So as far as women being in the friend zone, I want to start with you, Jay. Like, what's your perspective on that? Have you ever put a woman in the friend zone, and why? And tell me a little bit more about that.
I was just talking to one of my friends about this yesterday, actually. I personally have never put a woman in a friend zone that I have gone on a date with, right? Because my intention is to, obviously, I'm physically attracted to you. I'm liking something about you. I'm trying to do something on one level or another. The only time I've ever put someone in the friend zone is if we've met through networking or social media, and she's always making comments here and there, and I'm just not physically attracted to that woman. But in general, I don't believe in gray areas. And so I feel like the friend zone is a gray area. What, does she like me? Does he like me? Oh, you flirt here, you flirt there. And next thing you know, you in the back of the room somewhere doing something you weren't supposed to be doing. So I just avoid the friend zone personally, but I do know that it does exist, and some men have done that. But personally, I try to avoid putting any kind of confusion out there about it. Anyone that's a friend of mine from the opposite sex of someone, we just started off that way, and so there was no physical attraction or no dates to be had.
Right, that makes sense. So, what's your situation? Are you single, married, situationship?
I am single. I've been single for a while now, but I am dating a young lady, and it's going well. So I'm hoping that it turns into that. But everything's good in the first 2.5 months, right? You have to take your time. I'm not a person that jumps into it. At this point in my life, I know exactly what I don't need, and I know exactly what I do need, and so I'm pretty careful about jumping in. But I am currently single, technically, but I am not dating anyone else at the moment.
So exclusive. And how did you guys meet? I'm curious. I always like to ask people that.
Actually, we were actually friends on Facebook for a few years, and she recently became single, so I slid in the DM. I was like, "Yo, so what's going on? Like, what's going on with you?" And so we just been talking and spending some time together, because I'm in a space where I am dating with the intention of finding my life partner. That doesn't mean marriage or whatnot, and for a while there, I was casually dating. And there's nothing wrong with casually dating, but that's not where I'm at now. So that's what we'll see what happens. But like I said, it's always good in the beginning until they show you true colors, right? So
until you hit the brick wall, right? No.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you. So I'm going to get back to that later, because I think some of the reasons why women are in the friend zone is because they don't possess certain characters that men are looking for, right? So we're going to get to that a little bit. Yeah, hold that thought. Charmaine, so how do you feel? Have you ever been put in the friend zone, and were you cool with it, girl? That you knew of and that you were okay with?
Not that
you weren't okay with.
Not that I know of. No.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do put in the friend zone.
I know that's right. We talked about that. So you never text a dude who you really liked and like he got back to you like 3-4 days later. I mean, I would assume that you're in the friend zone. That you're not like number one or uno or anything like that. So.
Well, to me, when I hear friend zone, I feel like it's okay. Well, I'm not interested in you romantically, but we're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk. I'm thinking more so that versus, what you just said about, you text and they text days later or whatever. To me, that's not a friend anyway, to be put in the friend zone. But I mean, to me, I would just figure that person was not interested. That has happened, right. And vice versa, but
exactly.
Being put in the friend zone, not that I know of, but it's possible.
Gotcha. So any dude that you were trying to get a hold of, you got a hold of him, he took you out to dinner, you got everything you needed. Didn't have to push no envelopes, nothing like that.
He just wasn't interested and it just did not connect, like
right.
He didn't end up going out or whatever. But
that's good. That's good. And what about you, Doc? Have you ever been put in the friend zone as far as you know, or?
Never been put in the friend zone as far as I'm aware of. Anybody I've ever had an interest in it was mutual.
Right.
And like Jay, I don't believe in the friend zone. If it's someone where there's attraction, whether it's one way or the other, that's not someone that I even would entertain a friend, because I know that there's always that hidden attraction or intent that you're waiting around to see like what happens, or if someone else falls through, or just hanging around. And I've seen that like go left, where people who had interest, but you're not interested in that guy, and any type of interaction gets mistaken for it's a possibility, there's hope. So I don't put men in the friend zone. If I know that there was an attraction, or right. Then it's like, hey, it's not mutual. Somebody's out there for you. You go find that woman. I'm going to find the person for me. But I can't even trust that person ever being a genuine friend when I know they wanted something more with me from the jump. So I wouldn't even put that man in that position to even, have hope when I know there is none.
Right.
I feel like the friend zone is done more by women than it is men. I feel like women friend zone more than what men do, because honestly, I think most men, if there's a physical attraction, they're not going to put you in no friend zone, because like Doctor said, it's probably a possibility that man is thinking about something down the line on some level. It's like, late at night, she's lonely or whatnot, he'll slide through. You know, most men will slide through. I'm just keeping it real if there's a physical attraction. So I think, yeah. What about you, Genele? Have you ever been friend zone?
I was just gonna say I am gonna be the devil's advocate here. I was put in the friend zone twice, y'all. Okay, and I knew it, and they told me. And so the first guy told me I was giving him homie vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, you just getting South Philly. That's what you get. It's like, I thought, because we was hanging out, in the parking lot, chilling, drinking 40s, and eating Popeyes, that we was cool. So we was chopping it up, and I was like being my whole self. But, a couple of weeks into dating, he was just like, you just give me homie vibes. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I didn't know that. So, and we're still friends to this day, like 10 years later. And so the second one was a couple of years before I got married. He was coming on strong with sex, like just all these sexual innuendos, and wanted to just jump in the bed. And I was just like, yeah, that's not, what we're doing. And he automatically put me in the friend zone. Okay, well, we can just be cool, because I'm looking for somebody who wants more. And so we were just cool. We would hang out, go on dates, but we never had sex, and we just ended up being friends, and we're still friends to this day. So yeah, that happened to me twice. And the first one, I kind of blame myself because I was giving them homie vibes. That's okay. But the second one, like, how do I get put in the friend zone because I wasn't ready to have sex with you? So, Jay, why do guys do that? Like, have you done that to a girl where you push sex on her and she didn't want to do it? So you're like, okay, well, we can just be friends anyway.
I mean, in my 20s, I definitely was out here running these streets and having a fun time, to say the least. But to say that I haven't stopped talking to a woman because she didn't want to have sex with me, but I have stopped talking to a woman who wanted to be celibate in general. So it wasn't just about me; it was just all men. But I'm not going to be celibate. I'm not going to date a woman that's celibate. That's just not me, and I'm open and honest about that. So when she said that, I was like, well, look, I wish you the best, but if you date me, I'm probably going to try to have sex. I'm just being real. Right. And so I don't feel comfortable being the one that's going to cause you to break a goal that you have for yourself. Mm-hmm. So we're just better off being not dating. I wouldn't even say friends because, again, if we're going to date you, I'm not playing the let's be friends thing. So just go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm. Right. Charmaine, so I want to start with you on this one. Have you ever dated someone and even if you were just lying, just said, yeah, I'm celibate? And have you ever done that?
Nah, not that.
Keep it real now. Keep it real. Come on now.
Because I played that card a couple times. I'll tell you why.
I haven't played the celibacy card. Now, I have said that I'm not going to have sex until
you're in a relationship or committed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, not I'm celibate now.
What about you, Doc? Have you ever played the celibacy card?
Mm-mm. Straight, raw, no filter. I'm just going to say what it is, and either it's a match, if we're compatible or we're not. I don't have time for the games or the lies. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Going back to your situation, Genele, you said you got put in the friend zone. I think a point that you said was that you were playing like the homie. And I think sometimes when there's nothing wrong with being the homie or in general, because I think all people want that person to be your partner, your friend, your best friend.
Right.
But my question is, was there any intimate moments? Was there touching? Was there holding hands? Was there the brushing? Because I think that differentiates between the homie and someone I'm trying to build with. And I think a lot of times, especially even for guys who get friend zoned, I think they're probably dope guys, but they're not a little assertive, maybe. Mm-hmm. They're not doing things to show this woman that the vibe can be different, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think that would have made a difference in whether or not we would have fell into something, because he wasn't assertive. So he wasn't touchy-feely. He didn't reach out to me. So I thought he wasn't attracted to me because he didn't want to touch my leg or hold my hand. And so I gave that energy back. And then I think his pride as a man was like, his excuse was either, oh, you're being homey, or, why aren't you showing me affection as well? Because you're not showing me affection either. So yeah, so it's kind of a weird situation. But yeah, you're right. If it would have been like some chemistry jumping off and I was still giving him homie vibes, like that would just be kind of a conflict. Don't you think? Like, well, what do you mean, dude? I'm showing you that I like you. Like, so yeah. So Doc, what you thinking? I know that look.
One of the things when I was listening to you talk, and I cringed when you said, when you took self-blame and you were like, well, maybe I was doing it wrong because if that's who you are and that's your authentic self, either a dude is going to love that to death, like probably your husband, or it's going to be a guy who takes that and thinks I don't have a chance. And I would put that back on the dude who used it as the rationale, or you giving me homie vibes. I think that's just a easy scapegoat, but I don't think a woman should ever take that to mean, giving somebody that vibe or that homie vibe. It's just that he wasn't the right one, because a lot of them want that. They want somebody that they can be themselves, who is their friend, their good friend first, before it builds into anything else. So I think in those instances, you were being your authentic self. And if someone, feels a certain way with you being your authentic self, then I say that's bring it on. That lets me know, hey, this is not a good fit.
Yeah, it's funny, Doc. That was like my late 20s self. And I went to this phase where I was like, oh, I just want the man to like me. Like everyone who I dated was like my future husband, so I wanted to be like this perfect person. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm giving you this. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Like, this is what I meant, or, and now, going into my 40s, I'm like, the hell with you. Like if I cuss and you don't accept it, or you don't like the way I fry my chicken, I don't put butter on my cornbread all the time, the hell with you and everybody else. So I don't, I don't tussle with that anymore, but you're 100% right. And to help some of the young women out here, like Doc said, if you can't get someone who accepts you all around, then that's not that person for you, because you need to be able to be yourself at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I ask you ladies a question?
Yeah.
So I think all three of you said you friend zoned someone before. So for the men that might be watching or listening, what was it that made you what are some characteristics that make you put a man in a friend zone? Like what is something that they do that's like, oh, he's gonna be friend zone because he corny or whatnot?
I was just gonna say corny, no swag for me.
What is no swag though? Like, people have different swag these days. So swag is a wide spectrum. So what you think is swag might not be swag to somebody else. So what is swag? Is it a confidence thing? Like, what's going on?
That's a good question. I've always been attracted to older men, at least 10, 15, 20 years older than me, right? So if you're an older man and you're still wearing skinny jeans and jerseys, you ain't got no swag. But I don't want you wearing Steve Harvey stuff either. So, I mean, but you got to be able to, just be confident in your sexy and just have swag. Like, I shouldn't have to dress you, I mean, ladies, what do you think about that?
Same. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like
I see what you mean about the swag or the style or whatever. Like we all have our own style preference.
Yeah.
So, but good girls like bad boys. We don't want the bad boy tendencies, but we want a little thug, little gangster.
Yeah, a little thug passion, I mean, I don't want to get hit upside my head or nothing. Like.
Exactly. A reformed thug.
I ain't trying to get busted in my head. I want it in the bedroom like that, but
I'm the one who doesn't believe in the friend zone if I know the guy is interested in me. So I won't even continue with them. Like, even if someone is interested, and I'm a sapiosexual, so if he can't penetrate my mind, that's a lot of people that end up I'm not interested in anyway. But if I know that they're truly like they're persistent and it's like I know this is not going anywhere, then I pull back. Even if I say it verbally and they're like, yeah, I just literally say, look, I just pull back. I withdraw, because there are some guys who just don't accept.
They don't take no. Yeah.
They don't accept it, no matter how straightforward you are. It's just like, no. It's like they want it more, and I'm like, it's not going anywhere. It's okay. I'm not the one, and that's okay. but they're persistent. So no, I can't put somebody like that in the friend zone. I would never trust that person. I could never trust a guy in the friend zone that was interested in me and who I'm not going to talk to them if I'm in a relationship about my relationship. I'm not going to disclose certain things because I know that they had an interest in me. That interest doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.
I mean, you're the professional, so I guess you know, but I feel differently about that. I mean, I've had relationships where, when I say relationships, I'm using that in the broadest of terms. Just, when you meet someone and there is whatever interest and you do exchange numbers, you talk, you might text, whatever. Sometimes things just naturally kind of fall off, but they're cool. For whatever reason, it just does not work out. But they are cool as hell. Like, I will friend zone someone, and I have, I have friends that have been interested at one
time. I do a lot more talking before I don't date people if I know there's no interest. So that's one. Like, I'll talk to guys, and if I know we're not compatible, or I'm like, yeah, this guy would never be more than a friend, right? Even I think for me, it dies off. So they're never in a friend zone because my interest is not there. They can't keep my attention as a friend. So it's just like, my energy and efforts are better left invested in people who truly are my friends, or somebody that I might be truly interested in or that I'm dating. And I guess at my age, like, I'm not in a stage where I need a lot of friends. So it's just like, for me, it's more about quality of friendships than, it's a new person. And do I want to invest this time in somebody that I'm not really stimulated by? I know it's not going to be anything else. I really don't have a desire to hang out with them. So what would be the purpose of me putting them in any type of friend, anything? That's just me.
Yeah.
I just don't like giving people false hope. I don't like people in the background. I think Jay said he knew the woman he was dating for 2 years and he waited. He knew she was single again. He was like, I'm gonna slide in the DM. That happens. But he had an interest that was there. When the opportunity arose, he took he shot his shot, right? He did it. That to me is always in the back of somebody's mind, a guy who is.
But what if they're respectful? I mean, what if they're respectful of that? If they're respectful of that, what's the problem?
They can be respectful, but that still does not ignore the fact that they still have interest in you. Whether y'all can be the best of friends, that's just me and my boundaries. I don't need a lot of dudes around me that have had interest in me. Especially if I have a male in my life, those are not the type of dudes that I want around a new man or a man that's going to be in my life and have to have that conversation like, oh yeah, that's somebody who was interested. It's just, to me, it's messy.
So when we're talking about friend zone, there's a broad spectrum of friend zone.
But in this case, I think friend zone is being attached to somebody who was of interest that you weren't interested in. And so you put them to the side. I have a lot of platonic male friends.
But I mean, like, and I don't mean in that sense. I mean, like, sometimes the friend zone is a friends with benefits situation. Sometimes the friend zone really is a friend, and that's it, platonic. Sometimes the friend zone is somebody that you just enjoy just being around, or somebody that you, from time to time, you connect and catch up on how things are going, and until the next time, like, there's a range of
and all of those friends where there's no interest and I enjoy are all platonic. I don't believe in friends with benefits. I don't live that life. So my friends are truly my friends. They're platonic friends, and I don't have male friends who had a prior interest in me or that we dated before.
Isn't the friend? I feel like the friend zone is not a real zone though. Like, I think friend is probably the wrong term that we've just been carrying over, because you're not really friends. Because if you're not talking or seeing them consistently, if they're not going to help you when you broke down on the side of the road, are they a real friend, right?
Right.
And so I think we just say friend zone, but
Yeah.
I never looked at like friends with benefits as someone in the friend zone. Like that to me, that's just someone we're casually hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Charmaine is wrong. I just personally never looked at it like that. For me, if we just friends with benefits and we just sleeping together occasionally, that's we probably cool. We probably associates, but for me, when I think about friend zone, I think about this is someone who wanted me, someone who was trying to get with me, and I wasn't feeling her. So I said, I'm just gonna put her over in the corner and we just gonna be friends. But I'm like, Doc, I don't need any new women friends. Like organic. Like if we meet through networking, 'cause I do a lot of networking here in Tampa, I'm okay building that, but I'm not going out of my way to add more women friends in my life.
And I'm not thinking that grown people are doing that. You know what I mean? But that happens if you are dating.
Yeah.
So if you're actively dating, you're gonna meet people that you're not gonna connect with intimately and on a companionship type of level. So when I say that, so like I'm thinking about one person in particular in my life, and he's
what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? I want to know his name. What's his name?
Never happened.
I'm joking.
But we've been friends for years, and at one time or another, it was with benefits, but we were never like intimately. Well, I mean, I guess it started off like that. We liked each other, but it just kind of, we were better friends than anything. And we go to the movies, we go eat, we go to the bars. He's my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about, because I'm big on courtship, right? So since friend zone, and you have a good point, Jay, as far as does this friend even need to be in the equation? Because I'm big on courtship, and some of the best relationships, and not just speaking the relationships I've been in, you start off as friends. You court, get to know each other, you build that compatibility. Boom, then you start getting down to business, and then next thing you know, you're married and have children and everybody's happy. But I think it is important to build friendships first within that dating perspective from my standpoint, before you just jump in and with the lust and, oh, I like you like me, let's get it pop, and you wake up 2 months later, you realize you don't have anything in common with this person, you're not compatible, crash and burn. So at what point do we need to actually even be friends first, which technically is the friend zone, while we're like ultimately mutually have the same path, we want to be with each other, but we're willing to be friends first. So Doc, how do you feel about that? Do you think that's something that's important to be friends first before you jump in? Or
absolutely, but that's not somebody that I friend zone, because when I think of friend zone, is somebody that I'm not interested in. It's not going anywhere. It's the person who's interested in me, but I'm saying it's not going anywhere. Someone who I'm interested in, or somebody that I say, you know what, we're compatible. Let's take it slow. Let's, just build a friendship first. That's somebody still though that I'm interested in, that there's a mutual interest, and we're not, I'm not even dating them. I'm getting to know them, because I think a lot of times people blur the lines between getting to know somebody, or if they're dating somebody, or they blur the lines with, we're exclusively dating. No, you're in a relationship at that point. You're not dating, you're in a relationship if it's just that one person. But it's like it's all blurred. I like to get to know people. I will hang out. I would, like Jay, I network, I meet people at, kind of different events. And if we strike up a conversation and we talk and we're getting to know each other, dating is not coming into the conversation or equation when I'm just meeting somebody. We're getting to know each other. We're developing a friendship naturally and organically. And if it progresses where we both mutually say, hey, we see something here, let's do, I want to try more than this, and we mutually agree to that, then we decide to date each other.
Right. So like Jay was saying earlier, I mean, technically until he's married, he's single, even though he is seeing a young lady and they're exclusive. So you're saying you draw the line in the sand as far as like, if I'm getting to know you and we're romantically, emotionally involved and we're still friends, you're saying there's a fine line between that person being in a friend zone, but you're not romantically interested in them. There's a difference between those two. You're saying that?
Like, I take friend zone out of it. Like, I'm not dealing with anybody. I don't friend zone people. So
gotcha. Okay. So you don't believe in that necessarily.
So
okay, that makes sense. Either you're gonna get it popping or you're not. That's one of the two.
Right.
Okay.
So I think what we discover in this conversation is that there's a different perspective, or to Charmaine's point, that friend zone is a bigger spectrum than just the main box that people put them in. And so to like, I'm pretty much aligned with like the thinking of friend zone with Doc. However, I do understand the need of how building a friendship in the beginning could be someone, yeah, you know, this is my friend, and we're just trying to see if we can be compatible, because it is important to build that friendship. I've never, again, this is just my perspective, I have personally never looked at that being part of the friend zone, but I can see how it could be. But it is important to definitely build that friendship and spend time with someone, because you know, if you're dating with the intention of finding your life partner, your husband, your wife, or whatever, you do want them to be your friend. I don't know if best friend is the goal, because that's a lot of pressure on someone to be your best friend, your husband, your wife, and everything else. But I definitely date with the intention of the woman being my friend, but I don't look at it as that being the friend zone. But I get it.
Yeah, because we're saying the friend zone basically is someone who you have no intentions on making a romantic partner at some point. Pretty much that's it, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So Charmaine, we know you're single and you're out here. Are you mingling or?
I'm mingling a little bit.
Mingling. What about you, Doc? You mingling?
I'm meeting people.
You meeting?
I'm meeting.
That sound closed off. That sound closed off.
I'm a social butterfly. But see, people call it dating. Like I'm very social, but I'm not out here dating everybody that I meet, even if there's a connection, right? It doesn't mean I want to date them. So I'm out and I'm meeting people. I'm a social butterfly. But when I tell you, like, if I decide to date somebody, I do a lot of vetting before I even go date. Before I even say, let's have a first date. And a lot of times, a lot of men don't make it past the vetting that I would be interested in dating.
You mean like the people finder background reports, or just the questions you ask them?
Questions that I ask.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me that in the last show, you ask a lot of questions. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So at what point, ladies, do you feel like if you're dating someone, at what point do you give up the goods? Like, because technically, like Jay said earlier, until you are married, you're single. So even if you're exclusively seeing someone, like at what point do you give up the goods if he hasn't put you in the girlfriend box, or this is my number one box, this is my future wifey box? Like, do you kind of hold on to that until you get to that position? Or do you just kind of give it up and then hope that it turns into a relationship? Charmaine.
Whenever you're comfortable. I mean, whenever you're ready. And no judgment on my end. But for me personally, I would not officially sign into a relationship where I have not tested the goods.
I know we talked about that before.
Is to be miserable.
Oh, that's right.
So let me ask you this. I don't mean to cut you up. So I had this when I was single. A guy basically wanted to test drive you before he made a decision if he wanted to be with you. Have you had that happen, ladies?
Probably, but he just didn't say that.
See, I be with some thugs. They just be coming right out and just be telling me how they feel. You're like, damn.
They want to have.
If somebody actually said that to me.
I literally was like, yeah, you could be wifey, but I need to test drive that thing first. You know, I'm like, okay.
Hey, better to be open and honest, because look.
I'll be reading some ego driven. Well, I have. Just in case my husband's watching this, I ain't cheating. Sorry. So, I mean, Doc, how do you feel about that? Have you ever had a brother just come out and be like, look, until we get in the bedroom, I don't even know if we're compatible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that's come out in conversation. I mean, I appreciate a man that's honest and upfront. And I'm honest and upfront too. Like, I'm not if we are getting to know each other and I know that you're getting to know other people, we're not going there until I'm in a relationship with you and it's just us. You can go and do whatever you like. It just won't be with me. You can dip wherever you like. It just won't be with me. And I have guys that respect that. And I have, guys that was like, like you said, they trying to hit it. And I don't even know if we really, really compatible.
Right, exactly.
What's the point?
I think that's also part of where you see, and I heard you say it earlier, where you feel like if we're exclusively dating, then we're in a relationship. I don't feel like that. I feel like you can exclusively date somebody without being in a relationship.
I agree.
Yeah. So if we are exclusively dating, then yeah, sure, we should be able to have that conversation to where, okay, let's see on the intimate side how,
So how do you guys differentiate if you're doing all the things of a relationship, but you're just not calling it a relationship?
Well, I think you got to look at it. I think most people, I'm 41, but I think most people have different phases of dating. I think most people are initially in a casual dating frame of mind, meaning they're dating multiple people before they decide that this one person is going to be the one person they focus on. So then let's say I'm dating 3 women initially. I'm on Hinge, I match with 3 women. I'm talking to 3 women. I go on with date 1 or date 2 or date 3. And then no one's exclusive, right? But now this person number 1 is hitting all the right bells. She's taking my attention. So now I'm focused. Eventually, I'm spending all my time with her because I see something there. So then we have a conversation. Hey, I would like for us to be exclusive, meaning I'm going to cut off everyone else that I've been spreading my time with and see if we have the potential to be in a relationship when I'm focused on you. And then from that point, how much time is up to those 2 people. But then you decide, okay, we are compatible enough. Let's go ahead and be in a relationship. So that's how I personally look at it. And I think a lot of people have moved in that direction, which I know, it's kind of weird because if the older generation, that's like bullshit. Like, no, if we going on a date, I'm only dating you.
Right.
And yeah.
I just had that issue.
And the reason why, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had that issue just this week. And someone that I'm dating, or I was dating, a few weeks ago we started dating or whatever, and in our initial date we had that conversation of, I let him know I don't, I'm not dating exclusively, I am dating. And he was very old school. He's a little younger than me. And he was very old school about his dating approach, which is his prerogative. But he believes if he goes on a date with someone, he's dating just that person.
Yeah, and that's across the board. There are younger people, older people who have that dating style or method where it's all eggs in one basket until you figure out, and then you start over again. I, like Jay, if I'm talking to people or I'm going out and I'm evaluating, assessing compatibility, I'm of the mindset as well where, hey, I'm dating. I'm not dating one person at a time. I'm evaluating, trying to see who do I vibe with the best, who do I have the most, the connection with, who am I the most compatible with, who do I see liking when his dick, when his
up to go to money bag. I ain't do that one, Nate.
Who do I see a long-term enjoying being around, even when things start to not work? That's what I'm looking for when I'm getting to know somebody, when I'm developing that friendship and I'm talking to people, and naturally people start to die off. I was dating 3 guys at one point, and naturally I had 2 of the 3 that I was very compatible with, and the only distinguishing factor between the 2 that kind of had the most compatibility with me was just how I vibed with one over the other. That's it.
So what happened to the two? Did you make a decision, or did they both fall off at some point? You said
No, I ended up.
She cut him off. She cut him off.
No, I ended up. The other two dropped off, and then we were together. We were in a relationship.
Oh, gotcha. So, ladies, at what point? Because I'm an all eggs in basket type of girl. Before I got married, I was, I'm just dating you and that's it. Because my brain, like, I be forgetting stuff. So when I try to date 2-3 people at once, I was messing up zodiac signs. Like, oh, you're a Leo, that's great. And you're like, yeah, that wasn't me. I can't remember stuff, so I be saying stuff that didn't even pertain to them, and I had to go in my little notebook and be like, oh, I'm sorry, that was Keith. So it's like, at what point, like for the ladies who date multiple men, God bless you, because my brain can't do it. Are you able to give them all your energy? Like at what point are you able to like give them like your real energy? Because that's a lot to be dating like more than one person. I mean, it's not.
If you're your authentic self, it's not hard.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still be yourself, but you still got to put out energy. You got to go on dates. You're going on dates with 3 different people. You're having 3 different conversations. You got to remember stuff. How do you do that? I'm curious.
For me, I don't.
It didn't work for me.
That early on, like, I don't want anything whirlwind anyway. So that early on, I'm not seeing them that often. You know what I mean? Like every day, every other day. It's like once, twice a week, maybe. We text here and there, call here and there. So we're in touch, but we're not dating like hardcore. Like we're out in this world. We're not doing that.
Genele, I dated guys, and I chose to date guys that were like some miles away, so it couldn't be an everyday type of thing. It was we gotta plan and make an effort for when we're going to see each other.
Yes,
I was previously married, so when I got divorced, I didn't want somebody in my backyard. I didn't want somebody who was like real fast. Oh yeah, we together. Let me come over there every day and have that accessibility to me. So I deliberately dated guys that were like some distance. So like, you gotta call if you want to get with me. You have to call, and and it would take effort on both parts. So it wasn't something that happened every day or even every weekend. It might be every couple of weeks.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Exactly. Jay, how do you feel about that? Do you want to see the person you're with every day as you're exclusively dating, getting to know them, or do you need like that time in between, a couple days here and there, a couple texts, like Charmaine said?
Man, I'm a grown ass man with responsibility, so I ain't trying to see you every day. Nah. I mean, don't be wrong. We can talk. Like if I'm into you and we've decided that, I say this: don't start nothing that you can't continue, that you can't be consistent with, right? And that's for men and women. So if you're gonna text me every day and then all of a sudden you stop, it's gonna be a problem, right?
Yeah.
So I don't initially go out of my way to like text and call and ask to see the woman I'm interested in all the time, because I don't want to put up something that I can't maintain if I'm not sure about her. But I mean, people got to do what works best for them. If that's naturally who you are, you like to talk to people, to the person you're dating all the time, then you should definitely communicate that so that there's no misunderstanding, right? Because some people might want to talk every day, and the guy or the woman might want to talk every other day, and she over there, everything good in her life, but the man upset because he ain't heard from you, but no one communicated that, hey, I'd like to talk to you every day, So I think communication is the biggest thing for sure. But me personally, like, you can talk to me every day, but don't expect me to do it every day until we have decided to be like, I'm your man and you're my woman. And then at that point, I want to hear from you on some level every day. It doesn't have to be a full-blown hour-and-a-half conversation, because I don't think any of us have that kind of attention span anymore like it was in the 90s when we had no responsibilities, But yeah. Can I ask Timmy? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Happens, Jay. I think that naturally happens organically. If you're dating somebody and you get closer, you want to spend more time with that person. I think it evolves over time to the point where all them other, the other people fall off, and your energy goes to that person that you really want to continue to pursue more, or, get closer. And I think before you even end up in a relationship, you're already talking to that person more than you would have been, because it naturally progresses to that.
Oh yeah, I feel like people always are either gonna step up or disappear. Right? People are gonna remove themselves from your life based on their actions. And I'm a big believer on or in reciprocation. So whatever I'm giving out, I expect to get it back. And if the woman's not giving it back to me, then she's gonna phase herself out of the picture. I'm gonna move on to somebody else in general. Can we go back a little bit to our we were talking about like sex and like friend zone. And I have this belief that there's a fine line between, and this is for the ladies. Let's say you've been dating a man for, let's just say hypothetically 90 days, 3 months. And this man has never made a move. He ain't never tried to have sex with you. He ain't never tried to eat you out. He ain't said nothing. Ain't that a point where you're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna friend zone him because y'all say you don't want to give it up, but then if he ain't making no moves, ain't that a problem too?
I had a man, honey. He was a fine career, high value, you name it, like highly sought after, and he didn't want to have sex with my butt. And the reason why is because he actually didn't want to have sex until we got married. So, and I was like, I held in there for about 3 months, and I broke up with him because I didn't want to wait till marriage to have sex. I mean,
I know.
You know, so yeah, and that just didn't work for me. Did that happen to you ladies at all, or?
No, I have had men that were respectful. If I knew I wasn't, if I'm honest and I knew that I wasn't going to have sex with them anyway, or if it was a guy who communicated like, hey, this is how I am, or this is how I approach things, or what he considers respectful or not. That's about, again, communication too. So I've dated men who were very vocal about, not wanting to date women who they've seen live a certain way on social media, and was like, you know what, I don't want to go there with her. So there are men who aren't trying to have the sex conversation quick, or who aren't trying to hurry up and just get in a woman's, bed, who are actually trying to get to know somebody and evaluating just like women are. And it's not putting sex as the forefront of, or of how they're trying to get to know them. So I've had guys who were very respectful and were like, hey, that's not, we 30 days in, we just getting to know each other. And that's not even on the table yet for them either. And I respect that.
But I'm not talking about 30 days. I'm talking about 3 months in. You 3 months in dating, and he ain't tried nothing. He
banging out the stripper at the strip club then.
ain't no red flag for y'all. He ain't never tried. He ain't never brought it up. You ain't gonna friend zone somebody who ain't never tried to. Come on now. I've heard a lot of women say he ain't even. Is he attracted to me? Like he's not even trying.
So you talk about no level of intimacy at all, like
no level of intimacy.
To me,
he's holding a text.
That's a friend.
He's either gay or he's banging out like other women. Like
that's the friend zone. That's the friend
zone. That's how you get friend zone, right? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's a part of it. If he's not showing any level of intimacy, at some point, as a woman, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna go ahead and friend zone this dude because I don't know what's going on with him. So sex does play a factor in that.
I can't.
I guess it depends on if your own idea of intimacy is sex.
Yeah, because I was with a dude for 6 months and the sex was amazing, but he didn't want to go down. Like that was something he didn't do, and that was something that I highly required. So I dumped his butt just off of those grounds alone. Like I didn't 100%. Care about anything else. Because you let me know what I'm signing up for. Like if I were to marry you, like you ain't ever gonna go downtown.
Imagine appointment if you found out after marriage.
Oh, somebody going to jail.
Yeah. I ain't getting no woman who don't get no head.
We gonna fight on that. Those are fighting words to me.
And then want you to do the opposite, go down on them. Like no, how that work? How that work?
No.
That means you are not sexually compatible. You are not
exactly. And all it takes is for that particular dude to have one woman to mess it up for everybody. Because you didn't see me fresh out the shower, shaved down, ready to rock it. Good to go. You ain't seen no sense or no nothing. I ain't even burn no candles to camouflage nothing in the background, but your butt had one funky fish meal from McDonald's type of chick. You ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
Get on my nerve. And it'd be the fine ones too.
To me, it's just when I'm
y'all better get it together.
Like
they still out here doing it probably too.
How old are you? How grown are you? Like, are we adults?
I don't know. I just think that, Jay, did that ever happen to you? Like, did you have just one girl ruin it for you and it kind of turned you off for like a while and you wasn't trying to do that? Or you just kept going strong and then you took your chances?
And it has not happened in the last 20 years, but I will say when it did happen, when I was getting ready to, pull the pants down, was getting ready to go down, it was like, woof, I was like, this, it's me. The problem is me. I can't go. What's wrong? It's me. It's me. It's not you. It's me. But, and I was a little bit, it's like you don't want to hold every person accountable, for your next encounter. So I wouldn't say I enjoy oral sex and giving oral sex. So I've never had an issue with like doing that, but it does make you feel like, okay, what is it going to smell like when I go down there? Because we are, and I think the same for women too. Like some dudes be not smelling that good based on what my women friends have told me.
But
I put someone in the friend zone for that too.
But that's also, again, what I was just saying, maturity. Definitely. And how old are we? Hygiene after how many?
Yeah, but I'm talking about if somebody has to have a sexually transmitted disease. I mean, you can.
But out of courtesy, what's going on there. Even if you don't know you have a sexually transmitted disease, something ain't right.
There are flare-ups for sure.
That's something's not right.
And some people just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, they just don't. Yeah,
that's true.
My pH might be off today or something, but they didn't got something that climbed up in them that turned it to something that needed some medication. They didn't know it. And then the poor guys have to experience that. But I know what you mean, Charmaine. We talked about this on the last show. You want to make sure you right before your man get down there. That just ain't right.
And vice versa. I want him to make sure that he's considerate of me enough.
Right.
Manscaped do all of this stuff.
It's courtesy.
Yeah, because when I was dating,
nasty, be fresh.
Right. Yeah, because I had a dude way younger 20s, took off his pants and he smelled like his butt crack hasn't been wiped in like 10 days. It was coming from the butt crack. And I automatically got out of there. I never called him again. Even years later, he was like, "You never told me why we stopped talking."
Men are bad about that. Probably better later on in life, but men are bad about it.
Yeah.
It was coming from the butt crack, not even the because if it's coming from a man's peen, he probably has a sexually transmitted disease.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't have a pH like us, so it's coming from his butt crack. Okay.
Oh Lord,
and he was a clean cut brother. Like I'm talking about cologne down, nicely dressed. Like you wouldn't even think that the dude didn't get up in there.
Wipe his ass. Yeah.
So he missed out on his future wife because you didn't clean your butt crack that week.
Like how you live this life.
Cracks clean.
I gotta see.
Have you been to his house before?
Yeah, I had to get out there like a thief in the middle of the night. I was out of there.
Was this place organized and clean and everything?
Very immaculate. That's why I was really confused.
Because I'm thinking,
they say how you keep your house is how you keep your butt.
Yes, kitchen and bathrooms. I need to come to your place and see that.
Thank you.
I need to see your kitchen, bathroom. I need to see how.
And your shoes. Like if your shoes ain't clean and they all scuffed up, like you ain't washing your butt the way you're supposed to either.
I noticed that around. Very nicely dressed. Into the house, and then I'm just like,
how
are you living like this? You would never know.
Yeah, just people are just, but
but yet, Charmaine, they allowed you to come in there as if it was okay, and nothing.
Right, because
it's their norm.
Right,
it's their norm.
Right.
But if you walk in my house and see how I live, and then you invite me to that. there's something wrong.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, we say y'all want people to be authentic and be themselves. You know what I mean? That's part of who they are. But you know, like you said earlier, we don't know
who. Go to the house because I'm
they
about
don't-
to trash you.
Right.
Well, I grew up, you know, in a house full of women. I have 2 sisters, and my dad wasn't around, so, and I have a lot of women friends. So I've always, and I always tell my homeboys, like, if you having a house party, just out. You never know who's going to come. Just straighten up a little bit. Just straighten up a little bit so that the main areas are presentable. Your room can be dirty as hell. Like no one should be going there anyway. But your living room and your bathroom, your kitchen, tidy it up, man. I'd never let even with my friends, I don't let anyone come over without me straightening up just a little bit. So I'm with y'all ladies on that. Like, you know, we should. That's a lot of messy women, though. I'm gonna be honest. And y'all cars be messy too. Your cars be messy too.
My car looks like a homeless person and came in there and set up shop.
you can eat dinner off my seats.
I'm one of those.
Mm.
My husband's like, you just need a go-kart because the way you be keeping your car, I got chicken bones under the seat. I got everything but a dead body in my trunk. I tell you.
There are many reasons for people to get friend zone. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that would be one.
Listen, man, if a woman got a dirty house, I'm gonna have to go exit stage left.
You know, I have honestly, I dated a guy before that was very, very interested, and we had a very good vibe, very like just chemistry. And I did not. There were other reasons, but when I saw how he lived and he was so junky and so dirty and so messy, I was like, I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah, it's a turn off. Yeah.
And I don't want to be anybody's maid either.
Mm-hmm.
So either I prepare myself to be someone's maid or I prepare myself to be miserable. And I didn't want either. And that was enough for me to friend zone him. And we're friends to this day.
Yeah. So Jay, I have a question for you. With the lady that you're dating, going back to the sex thing, how long did it take you to get the goods? Did you get the goods before you labeled yourself as exclusively dating, or was it after? When did it come?
Sure enough, did get it before.
I know that's right. You got to test drive that thing.
I know. I mean, I'm open and I'm honest about my intentions. I'm clear in my communication. I never lead anyone in the opposite way. If I'm just trying to have sex, I'm open about that. But that wasn't the case with her. And so yeah, I mean, I also have a different perspective on sex than a lot of people. I'm a little more open-minded about sex and the importance of it in our lives. So for me, I don't put a lot of like I've gotten in relationships with someone who was supposed to be a one-night stand, right? Because we had sex, and I was like, well, she kind of dope, and so I asked her, like, had a question, and it turned out she was interested in more, and we ended up, this was years ago, ended up dating. So like for me, sex early is not a deal breaker, and sex later is not a deal breaker. If it happens, it happens. As long as we're on the same page about it, like we're grown adults. And so for me, as long as a woman is comfortable with her skin about it and her life, then we can do it. I'm not going to judge you or judge her on it. So I wouldn't say we had sex early on, but maybe for some people, a month and a half, 2 months is early for some people, but for me, that's not quick, or late. So
yeah, that's actually a while. I mean, most people are getting it on like a second date, and haven't even finished dessert, and you got them bent over in the car in the parking lot.
Yeah, I try my best to not lead with sex, because I understand, even though that I have an open mind about sex, I know a lot of people and a lot of women can have struggles around disconnecting sex from their relationships. If they have sex with someone that they're more I don't know, tied to that person or whatever the case may be. So I try to let people move at their own pace and not be turned off by it. Because at the end of the day, until we decide to be in a relationship, you can go and fuck whoever you want to. Sorry, you can go have sex with whoever you want to have sex with, and I can go have sex with who I want to have sex with. So I'm not turned off by her. If I take you out on Tuesday, you slept with somebody. I assume somebody always got somebody. There's always a woman. Yes, I assume that
getting deep down.
Getting deep down, 100%.
No.
I'm not saying it's the case, but I'm okay with it if it is, because I ain't wiped her up. I ain't took her off the market, so she can do whatever she want to do until we had that conversation.
For me, I'm different. I don't want sex unless I'm in love, because I feel like you're connecting souls when you're having sex. Like you're like pouring yourself literally into someone, and unless I like love you or I'm attempting to fall in love with you, I just don't be having sex. Well, when I was single. So, but I know there are a lot of women out there who they keep that fire lit, and they just keep something on the burner at all times, and more power to them. But I think that's why we probably got more baby mamas out here than we do wives, but it's okay. I ain't gonna say nothing about that. That's a whole other show. You still burning that midnight oil, keeping the light on for a brother, but you ain't got any wife yet. Stop letting them go that back door.
The rose can only do so much.
Exactly.
Well, you'll be surprised. It can do a lot.
I know.
That's
so
what
ladies,
I've heard.
Right. So ladies, do you keep something on the burner at all times? You just kind of wait till you got that special person that you can really give yourself to?
For me, it's a chemistry thing.
Yeah, you gotta have that chemistry.
Like I need to really like you, like really like be into you.
Yeah. I want to be able to do my little seems like you're ready, strip shows.
Yeah, because I'm giving a lot, Yeah. It's a whole, and so I need somebody that I have chemistry with,
you
that
can do it right.
Exact energy back, because
yeah. And we're Cancer women. We already talked about this. We love intimacy. We love the vibe. We love, you just walk in the room and you undress me with your eyes. Like, I love all that. And you can't just be doing that to just anybody, Because that's why dudes be going crazy and busting out windows and stuff and climbing through your bedroom window, because you're putting it on them and then you don't want them.
Yeah.
I make sure somebody you want. I had it happen. Brother climbed up a 50-foot ladder to my window.
No.
About 20 years ago, but I'm still traumatized. Come home every day. I be checking behind my shower curtains, make sure nobody ain't there. I be checking under everything. I even check under the couch, and there's only like that much space between the couch and the carpet. That's what I'm saying. You just can't give your goods up to everybody, because there are some crazy people out there. When you're ready to cut them off and put them in the friend zone, they not ready to go. Like,
yeah, it's true.
That's what you get because you was giving it up. So anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was a riot single. Oh my God. People didn't make it past like 6 weeks. Like Doc, like you said, I was running people finder reports. I was doing what do they call the security clearances on brothers. And so, I was running again. I was doing background check on the grandmoms, every baby mamas, everybody.
What?
I'm being a little sarcastic.
Okay. I'm really fucking
if you get people, you don't know who people are nowadays. You do not know. And I used to date online. I was on Bumble, OkCupid back in the day, Black Planet, all that stuff. So over the years. So you don't know who you're meeting, because I don't get out much. I'm a homebody. I love to be in the house. Like, I'm not a social butterfly. I do not like people. I went to TJ Maxx today. I'm like, why are people here? Like, I don't like being out around people. So like online dating was like my thing. So you got to be careful, like who you meet, and you have to do those checks and balances because you just don't know. Jay, I know you mentioned earlier you were on Hinge. Like, how has your experience been like online dating? Like, have you met some crazies or?
Nah, I do a pretty good job of vetting people. I'm one of those people who ask whatever question I want to know, and I don't believe any topic is off topic. And someone is offended by me asking certain questions, then she ain't the woman for me. So I've done a pretty good job of vetting the women before I offer to take them out, because typically I'm paying for a first date anyway. So I'm like, I'm going to spend my money. I want to make sure this is someone I can actually have a decent conversation with. So I've never had I probably had one bad experience on the dating app, but it was only bad because she was just talking about her ex the entire time. I was like, which is normally is not that bad. I'm pretty open minded about just conversations, but it was like literally the entire time. I was like, this chick is not over her man. So, but I haven't met too many crazy women from dating. I haven't been catfish in a very long time. I just think it's too much technology out there, and there's ways that you can find out or see who people are before you meet up. And then for me, it's like, if I can't video chat you at a certain time on a certain day, then what are you hiding? What do you look like? You know what I mean? And so yeah, no, not. I'm too old for those games. I feel like people who get catfish these days are just not really doing the work to vet people out. You know.
How is that happening in 2022?
Yeah, ladies, you guys online date, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah. You
do? What y'all site y'all on?
I met a guy that I was with for about 5 years on Zeus.
Oh, Zeus, yeah. That's what mom used to be on Zeus. Yeah, wow. What about you, Charmaine? Are you on any dating apps there?
Yeah, right now.
She's like, yeah, this bitch.
It's ghetto out here. It's
real super good, ain't
it? But I'm on Tinder right now, and Bumble, which I don't know how to use, and but I used to online date before I got married. I'm divorced now, of course, but so before that, I used to be on like every day, eHarmony.
Girl, I was
on. And then Plenty of Fish, and when I
that's trash.
Right, that was trash. It used to not be.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, that used to be like bomb back in the day.
And it's weird now.
Yeah.
I tried Tinder like some years ago, but I got off of there because it was too many posers, men trying to get money and pretending to be in the military.
Oh, wow.
It was just scammers. To me, it was just scammers.
I met my ex on Tinder. We were together for like 3 years, I think. Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah. So
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong online dating. It's part of our culture at this point.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of people get upset that they have to get online and date, but unless you're out networking and unless you know are open to men approaching you, and a lot of men don't want to get shut down. Like I know women talk a lot of crap about men approaching, but I don't think a lot of women understand how serious the fear of rejection is, because y'all don't have to do it typically. And so no man wants to get his courage up, walk over, and then be rejected. And then it hurts. It hurts, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it hurt. It cut deep. But
yeah, when I was single, I actually approached a guy or two, you know, because I was used to going out and like no one was approaching me. I guess they assumed that I was taken, or like you said, they didn't want to be rejected. So I just started going up to a couple brothers and being like, hey, you here with someone? And you know, I know it probably came off a little desperate, but they appreciated it, you know.
I read an article, I think last year, that said like women that approach men end up 55% more likely to be married with that person because you know they're the one choosing.
I also think it has a lot to do with what you were just talking about, Jay, which is for guys, there is a lot of anxiety about being rejected. So the fact that somebody actually came up to them and did that work, which if they weren't as anxious, they probably would have said something to them. Yeah, sure. I can definitely see that being true. So, I mean, I'll approach. I'm not very. I mean, it has to be. He gotta be fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, real fine.
But if I see someone that I'm looking at, I'll subtly like give those glances. You know how we do. We kind of like can kind of tell someone with our eyes or our body language that we're approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good. Great. Did y'all have anything else you want to share? I mean, this was a great show, good conversation. I think we kind of established that there's no such thing necessarily as the friend zone. It's just really where you put the person depending on what type of vibe you have with them, right? I mean,
Yeah. I think most, like I said earlier, most men aren't really putting women in the friend zone. They're either into them or just friends, or like legit friends. I don't, because again, most men are probably okay at being intimate with their quote unquote friends. So I definitely think the friend zone is something that is not really real unless you allow yourself to be put in there. So yeah.
right, exactly. Awesome. All right, well, we'll go around the room like we normally do. We'll start with Charmaine. Just give your closing thoughts on the friend zone. Like,
so I definitely think it's possible to be in the friend zone. It doesn't work. Well, I haven't personally experienced that, but I definitely have friend zone men before, and friend zone is a great place sometimes.
All right, and Doc?
My closing would be, Jay just kind of triggered a thought about it, and I would say the only way you can end up in the friend zone is if you allow yourself to be.
I know that's right. And Jay, closing thoughts.
I'll just say communicate what your goals are in your dating experiences. If you really are interested in someone and they are not giving you the energy that you desire or earn, then don't waste your time in a zone that you don't want to be put in. All right. Don't do gray areas. Either doing this or we doing that. Not this in between.
And you can't hit that with a bat.
That's right. You can get with this. You can get with that. You can get with this. So you can get with that.
Yeah. You can get with it. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Another great show. Catch us on Thursday, same time, same station. Don't forget to like, comment, share. We love you and we mean it. Peace, love, and hair grease.